This is the German Leopard 2, the oldest of the modern generation tanks, but one of the most commercially successful. It's a very heavy tank, protected by masses of armor. It's capable of being completely submerged. And on rough ground, the Leopard is surprisingly maneuverable. This is the French Leclerc. It's a much lighter tank with exceptional agility, powerful acceleration, and a top speed of 45 miles per hour. It has an auto loader, which means it only needs a 3-man crew. It also has the longest gun of any main battle tank. This is the Russian T-90, an updated version of the T-72 that the Allied coalition fought in the Gulf War. The new tank has a low profile and is much simpler to operate. Armies are continually updating their tanks, so there's plenty of Army surplus. Millionaire Fred Ropke has the largest private collection of armored vehicles in the U.S. Fred was a tank platoon commander in the Marines, but even though he left the forces over 40 years ago, he still lives for tanks.
If you're in a tank that's really running right, in the old ones like these, you sometimes can't even hear yourself scream. You get so much movement, you get so much vibration, you get so many sounds, squeaks, groans, backfires, smoke. It's something that you have to experience to really know what I'm talking about.
Out of the 40 tanks in Fred's collection, his team has restored 4 Shermans. At 46 tons, it's the heaviest tank in Fred's extraordinary collection.
Soldiers fade away, but old M47 tanks stay massive as ever. So if you have an old frame house that you want demolished fast, take a tip from the New Jersey contractor who's handling this job. A surplus tank is a lot less expensive than a bulldozer and even more brutal. Expensive to run, maybe. You only get half a mile to a gallon, but this is only a half-mile job. Through the house and back a few times. Talk about a bull in a china shop.
In Britain, anyone who has passed the driving test can take a tank on the public highway. John Gladden has been driving his yellow tank around London for years.
I own a tank because I enjoy going around in a tank. I find it very amusing. People's faces, it's just a fun vehicle. You can drive anywhere at all in the country. There's no restrictions, even to Buckingham Palace, wherever you want to go. If you turn up in a tank, everybody gasps and everybody looks, and it's just something a bit different. This particular tank doesn't carve up the road or do any damage to the road because it has these large rubber bricks that are inserted into the track, so there's no damage to the road whatsoever.
John's tank is a 1964 Abbott, all in perfect working order, except, of course, the gun.
so different from any other vehicle you see on the road.
On the other hand, driving a tank on American roads carries a stiff penalty. In 1995, an ex-Marine stole a tank from a military base and went on a rampage in San Diego.
This is the San Diego Police Department. Get out of the street and go back in your house. You're in danger. See if we have any SWAT equipment that can help us out with this thing.
Amazingly, he didn't kill anyone, but a 45-ton tank can cause incredible damage.
Cars that are following them, I have no idea why.
I came home about 45 minutes ago, parked my truck where it's standing right now, where I live in this apartment complex, and I heard the noise, so I looked out my apartment window, and this tank is on top of my truck, just demolishing it, just disintegrating it.
Oh my God. Holy. Yeah, he's rolling over just about anything he wants to. This is bad. He's running over fire hydrants. You got hydrants that are blowing water in the air. This is the San Diego Police Department. Get out of the street and go back in your house.
Just as I got out in the driveway, he ran over my truck. And then he took out the telephone poles over there and he headed down the street and ran over that blue car right there, and then he went back and he ran over the fire hydrant and just kept on going.
Some people were lucky to get away with their lives.
My daughter says that the gentleman stood up out of the tank and smiled at her and ran right over the corner of the van.
After his destructive trip around the suburbs, he headed out onto the freeway. The police were powerless to stop him.
Somebody get a hold of the armory and find out if this thing is loaded.
It was finally brought to a halt when he tried to cross the reinforced concrete divider right into the oncoming traffic.
We're ready to get the hatch open right now. The guy's still inside and he's not out. They can't get the hatch open.
Okay, 10-4, so he is stopped, though.
Well, he can't move, but he's trying to real hard.
The police took no chances and killed him with a single shot. The risk to the public of a runaway tank was too great. The best way to kill a tank is to use another tank. Tanks fire two types of ammunition. First, the discarding sabot round, which uses kinetic energy to pierce the armor of an enemy tank with sheer brute force. As the shell leaves the gun barrel, the sides drop away, leaving a rocket-shaped projectile, which can travel at more than a mile a second. The second type is a shell which explodes on impact and simply rips the tank apart. Another effective way to attack a tank is to destroy it with a missile. The great advantage of a missile is that it can be steered. It can also carry a massive warhead. Firing a missile is relatively easy, but guiding it to its target is something else.